No, I was just somewhat annoyed with the equivocation.
The equivocation of what?
Of voting for either party.
Oh, when I said it?
Not now, or not before, but slightly now. Because now that Trump's in power, I feel like you should have better context to understand that there was reduced harm in voting for the other party.
During a recent stand-up set, comedian Sammy Obeid, a must-follow in today's comedy scene, took on an audience member who tried to shame him for sticking to his principles while blaming him and voters like him for Trump's 2024 election win. What the audience member does not realize, or is too blinded by partisan loyalty to see, is that the harm reduction voting strategy only works if there's a legit motivation from those in power to break from the status quo and offer something tangible that benefits voters, instead of just sitting back and relying on being the marginally better of two evils. Listen to the man himself say as much.
I also vote by, how I feel about an administration, and do I want to support people who I think are bad?
I felt supporting Trump's administration was better.
Here's the thing. I get where you're coming from. You like to see it as if you don't vote for this, you are voting for that binary. But that's not how I see it. I believe that democracy as an institution can only work if we actually have freedom of choice in who we vote for. And if the establishment doesn't listen to us, they'll never get it. We'll be locked into this two-party system for the rest of our existence.
This is the crux of everything that's wrong with American politics today. All we have is the illusion of choice between the far-right Republicans and the majority centrist Dems, who both serve the interests of their corporate and billionaire donors and don't care about improving the lives of the vast majority of the population. Neither Obeid nor we are arguing that Trump was the better option over VP Kamala Harris, but the fault for her defeat lies not with the voters, but the Dem Party establishment for refusing to come to terms with the reality that the American people were fed up with the way things have been going, both in our country and abroad, which is exactly what Trump and the Republicans capitalized on.
I didn't want Trump to be president. I don't think Trump is the president that a lot of people want in this country. Unfortunately, he's what we've deserved. Trump is not the president we want. He's not the president we need, but he is the president that we deserve. He's the orange wrecking ball that unfortunately had to come to fruition because of what a country we've been. That's how I feel. I could be wrong.
Minutes later, another audience member would chime in on the harm reduction discourse and hammer home the point that the onus is on the candidate and party to explain to voters why they deserve their vote, not to campaign on being marginally better than the opposition. Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Rick Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStromShow. Also be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you.
If you use harm reduction, the party that you're using that for, the Democratic Party, would take your vote for granted. So a lot of minorities have always voted for Democrats, but what have they really done for minorities? Because they know all they do is one other vote for the other side, so they think they got your vote locked in, so they don't have to look at your concerns and your needs.
I very much agree with this point. If I had voted for the Democrats, it would have signaled to them like, yeah, we can basically get away with it. And the people who despise are still going to vote for us because they know that we are the harm reducers, right? Which again, I don't even agree with. But yes, I don't like that.
None of us, whether you're a leftist or a classic lib, should be happy with this dynamic, which is why we must demand better from our Democrat elected officials and continue applying pressure so our needs can be met, even without the broad bipartisan support of the genocidal actions of the Israeli state against the Palestinian people. Obeid's point still stands firm and even has agreement with fellow comedian and friend of the network, Trey Crowder.
For most of the Trump era, my position has been that the left couldn't afford to be divided right now, that progressives and moderates need to come together and stand against fascism, right? But that didn't work. We lost, which is particularly embarrassing considering this time around the fascists are very stupid. But still, we lost again. And so now it's time for the Democrats to do what every perennial loser eventually has to do, a top down, rebuild. All right, we keep a few key franchise players, AOC, Crockett, Walls. We let Bernie stay on as a senior offensive consultant. Other than that, we blow it all up, clean house. I mean, that's what the right did.
You never have to hand it to the Republican Party, but it is undeniable that they care about winning elections and imposing their Christian nationalist agenda more than anything else in the world, and are willing to make the tough decisions that they thought would give them the best chance at achieving their goals. Look how it's paying off for them right now, and all at the expense of working people, mind you.
I don't know what you call it, but we need a paradigm shift. All right, every old school banking, Israel-loving, stuffed shirt Democrat needs to be primaried into oblivion too damn sweet. Okay? They do. It's past time for it to happen, y'all, because we need to get some teachers and community organizers and union reps in there, people that'll fight for regular Americans and our kids in the future and for what's right, people who will fight.
These are all things and people that the Dem Party should represent and be campaigning on. But again, the pro-corporate lapdog wing of the party would rather collude with fascists than take a backseat to new leadership.
I'm tired of these people who think that they've been put there because they're better than everybody and know what's right and don't have to listen to what their own constituents think. I'm just tired of them not doing ever. Can you imagine just having a party that actually represented your values and worked to further them? Is that too much to ask, really? Is that beyond the realm of possibility to hope, to dream that one day we could perhaps have something like that on the American left? I'm just tired of it.
Trust us, Trey, we are all tired of it too. And like he argued, there's no better time than now to reform the party and shape it to legitimately work for the interests of the American people. Otherwise, the rhetoric and actions from the Trump admin will only get more and more dangerous and dystopian.
And it's not, and look, I'm like, credit to all, there's plenty of other Democrats still in there that are doing a fine job and aren't down with this. I mean, the House, they held it together generally. Not a fan of Jeffries. It's just a lot of the old guard has got to go. We need to turn it over to some new blood, to some people that actually have the best interest of Americans at heart. And I don't think there's ever been a better time to do it than right now. Again, I've said before, the stakes are too high. It's too risky. We can't blow everything up. Well, I mean, we're kind of in a how much worse could it really get sort of situation right now. I mean, I know that that's famous last words, but if you're the Democratic Party, what are you going to do? Be even more of a minority?
So the president has discussed this idea quite a few times publicly. He's also discussed it privately. You're referring to the president's idea for American citizens to potentially be deported. These would be heinous, violent criminals who have broken our nation's laws repeatedly. And these are violent, repeat offenders in American streets. The president has said, if it's legal, right? If there is a legal pathway to do that, he's not sure. We are not sure if there is. It's an idea that he has simply floated and has discussed very publicly as in the effort of transparency.
If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.